So I made a little clear cut list real quick for us. When you think about a traditional woman, most of the time she's a virgin. She doesn't work. She's religious, wants children, and most likely will stay at home with those children if she's not working. Hypergamous, one could argue, and does most of the housework, all of the housework and work with the children. Granted, the men might read for the kids or, do some laundry here and there, but for the most part, she takes care of the home, right? Versus a modern woman is
All
not a
right,
virgin.
two things real quick. For we
Okay.
traditional, you said hypergamous, and you said something else. I done forgot that fast. One of the first things you said.
Virgin.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So
Hey, you got a lot of men who argue that a traditional woman is wholesome and she is a virtuous woman. She is not for the streets. So I know that's why I'm here tonight, because I think we are kind of we want to pick and choose and cherry pick what tradition means. But I mean, traditionally, a woman was only to give her body to her husband. So I mean, that's all I'm saying. If we want to talk about traditional,
we weren't going that far back. We weren't going biblical. We was going like, early
shoot,
back.
that's 1950s.
Like our great
1950s.
grandparents, like, yeah, we wasn't going.
Yeah, you know what? I've never been on the whole like virgin thing. Like I said, I don't know, but I ain't gonna smite it down. But I wouldn't say that's an ironclad characteristic.
I don't think most men are either. I agree. I think most men are, they don't want to wait until marriage. And the woman nowadays doesn't either. So, but I'm just going based off that. So
And you
men who
said
say that
hypergamous as well. Like I would say modern women are hypergamous, not traditional women.
modern women are some might be hypergamous, but most of them want equality. When you think about a modern woman, you think about a working woman, my degrees, my this, my that. Most of them want something like a 50-50 equality split type of situation. Now you have some modern women who are hypergamous, but it's mostly an option. A woman who was traditional, she had to be hypergamous because she's not working.
Well,
What is the definition of
that's
she don't
they're
have
not working. How do you know? What is your understanding of hypergamous?
Look, I don't make up my own definitions. I read them based off what they mean. Okay, so we can do that.
So we'll give you an example. I'll give you an example while you're doing that. When we speaking on hypergamy, we're speaking on modern women. When they come up on the Kendra show and they boss chick, she making $150,000 and she wants a man that's her equal or better. So she's hypergamous. She won't settle for less. So the man got to be making $200,000.
Well, I mean, yes, that's why I said it's optional for the modern woman to be hypergamous. I put on here for her that she might be hypergamous or want equality, because that's kind of an option that the modern woman you'll see her go between. But ultimately, hypergamy is the action of dating somebody who is or marrying someone who is and you have a sexual relationship with someone who is superior to you on a social level and on a educational background level. So when you think about sociology and when you think about educational background, that equals to finances and money and resources a lot of the times, or status as far as being a king or a queen. But none of us are royal like that anymore. So a traditional woman is marrying up. If she does not have an education and he does, she's marrying up. If she doesn't have a car and he does, she's marrying up. We don't look at it like that.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. That would be like 100% hypergamy rate. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't a thing back then. It's only a thing now.
So what do you call it if a woman has nothing except her body and her womb, and she's marrying a man who has a house, a car, money, and more money than her? That is dating up.
No, that really can't be hypergamous, like Gavin said. Because somebody got to make some money. So she ain't.
It ain't wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong, but what is it?
Your hypergamy coming down to your options at that point, right? So they got the option to earn now, like men. Women were never on any playing fields with men. You go back and know on
right.
Anything.
So meaning that she was forced to be hypergamous if she didn't have the option to. And most traditional women
by default, like every woman, literally every woman was hypergamous by default. We speaking on, like I said, we ain't going back to biblical times. We can't.
I'm talking about the 1950s. I'm talking about our grandparents.
There you go. So let's clear it up. So traditional and modern hypergamy. Let's go ahead and throw some parameters out here. So traditional hypergamy, since we're going here, let's say that, like Gavin said, the women had to be hypergamous because they were looking to be housewives. They weren't making an income. The guy had to be making more than them. He had to, because she was staying at home. Today's modern hypergamy, she's making bread as much, if not more. But with that, she still demands that her man still makes more. That's modern hypergamy, where conventional women, traditional women, were like, you bet you got to make something, brother, because I'm not making anything.
Today, and they weren't above nobody. There was no pecking order. Nowadays, there, like you said, there's women, quote unquote, above men financially. Back then, this type of stuff didn't exist. So
right, but I think by nature, women still will always women always want to admire, look up to, have resources from a man. It's just always going to be that way, regardless, most of the time in a traditional setting, optional for a modern setting. So that's all I'm saying. I mean, I hear y'all and I agree, but I think that that's not a word that we like a lot of the times, but women are like that a lot of times by nature in this world we live in.
I think the modern day hypergamous, you got to intertwine like some type of gold diggerism and all type of that stuff. It's more
if you go to the extreme
in today's woman.
Well, I think it's all extreme. Every contestant, 90% of the contestants we review from the Single by Choices show are making $100,000. So I want to say we already in the realm of extremes, because they man, hence now got to be must be a top 10% man by default. That is where the hypergamy doesn't make sense. It's only a problem because it's counterproductive to what they're trying to accomplish.
Right, so, because it's difficult for a woman to be hypergamous in this day and age because we don't have enough men making enough money.
No,
so
you know,
that's not.
Stop the cap.
So it's rough out here when you're trying to get that. It ain't my fault that it ain't my fault. I'm just telling you what it is.
Two things is true. Two things is true. If the women are creating the standard, then like I said, the man, if these are standards created by y'all and practiced by y'all, then y'all can live in that land if y'all want.
But what I think a lot of men don't realize is it's in your favor that women are more modern. That's what a lot of men, especially on it, in these comments, don't realize. Now, this is my point, guys. You're not going to get 100% traditional. Most cases, you're not going to get 100% modern. Most cases, that's what I'm saying. So I'm not trying to be funny, but right now we live in a day and age where we have a bit of a mixture. What you have to ask a woman is, which way do you lean more towards? Do you lean more towards traditional values, or do you lean more towards modern values? Because let them tell it, I'm a modern woman. Let the world tell it on here, I'm a modern woman. But if everybody was with me every single day of my life, I'm a traditional woman by your definition. But because I have an opinion and because I don't act the way some men want me to act as a woman, they call me, slap a modern sticker on me. So, it is what it is. But I believe in a lot of things that are traditional, which is funny. So it's just men say what they want, but sometimes they don't know what that looks like.
I tell you what, under the realm of modernism, modern men, modern women, Mr. Walker ain't married. I don't know. I guess I might be a bachelor, because when I got married or even proposed to my wife, I had to get an advance from my boss just to get the ring. So I sure as heck wasn't making more than my wife. My goodness. So that's what I'm saying. If that person was in the room, I'm a lonely.
Well, the thing is also too, that's the blessing of a more modern woman, or a woman who's somewhat understanding to our new day and age, as she should. If you have an amazing
so you said a modern woman will take in a man making less than her.
To be honest with you, if we look at it for real and without being biased, look at it. A more modern woman is working, meaning that she's making income. So if she's making income and she's working, she's less domesticated. That ain't no shade to any woman. Like I told you, I've walked in many different shoes in my life, but she is working. She is contributing to the household. So she has more of a partnership versus a traditional marriage, which is fine. And it can work out perfectly as you and your wife, what seems to me, have a mixture. She seems like a traditional woman, take her to children and a good mother, obviously a great wife. You love her, you up here being productive, whatever, right? But like you said, it wasn't that she was only getting with you for resources only. And I think that's another misconception. Hypergamy is not just finances. You know, a lot of people just go straight to the money, but as we say many weeks, you can't just date a man based off his income. You had other things that made it a hypergamous situation for her, possibly. You stood out from other men. Maybe you're tall. Maybe you're, and I'm not no shade to her, but like women look at that, you know, you're driven, you're different. Maybe you listen to her. Who knows? It could have been many different things.
It's the barrier to entry for most women. Just like a woman being beautiful and fit is the barrier to entry. Like y'all ain't gonna find out all these things if he ain't looking some kind of way. You ain't coming up to a bum on the street trying to figure out his interests.
Well, nobody is going to a bum. Nobody is going to a bum, but it's not, women are not women. Some women are super visual. I can't speak for all women. I ain't about to do it, but you already know my standpoint on that. It's not the smartest thing for a woman to be visual. Should not be top 1 or 2. It should be.
It is now though, Crystal. There you go. I'm sorry after you said that. You just said today visual should not be top 1 nor 2. Well, there's women that all raise their hand in agreement and say that looks are either top 1 or 2, Crystal.
And I agree. I already know that. I see the silliness, and that's why they single. That's why they ain't got nobody. That's why they broke.